could. That's the real estate. What's the way?
No, that's a difficult conversation. That's a difficult discussion for me because I have a lot of male friends.
Yeah. And you're about listeners up in North Mountain? That's a bad subject for you. How about, okay. Should consume.
Let's talk about it later because we're alive on.
Okay. All right, so you're Susie Seller. I'm Bobby Byer.
I am Victoria Rivatanera.
This conversation. It's 70 degrees on Christmas Eve.
Ridiculous.
You know that?
I like it.
Love it. I love this beginning. So where are you going to
I don't have the bio on you, so you have to introduce yourself.
You want the middle or what?
I'll take the middle.
Don't you want to be on the end?
No, it's got to stand up.
You can learn all the facts. Use it.
Are you a fan of this music?
Yeah, sure. Because you know what? Because it's relevant to me. Then he made it for the show. Relevant to me. Then he made it for the show. Everything. Oh.
I'm trying to see that's the other one.
So give me a hand signal when we get back in the topic.
This is what you look like, by the way. You're not really in the shot.
Good evening and happy Monday. I'm Victoria Rivatanera, president of the Northeast Division for Exit Realty Corp International, and I also hold a New York State real estate license, and I have held that for the past 25 years. I'm a member of the National Association of Realtors, as well as many other associations, and I am here once again this Monday with my co-host, Scott Forcino, in the WFAS studio. How are you today, Scott?
I'm great. I'm looking forward to the show.
Yes? So what's today?
Today is this is a good bad situation. It's the first day of winter tonight, I think 11:48 p.m. That's the bad news. Who doesn't hate winter coming?
I don't.
But Tim doesn't. I do because it's cold temperatures and you don't do any of your fun summer stuff. But the good news is tomorrow starts one more minute of daylight per day.
So today was the shortest day of daylight.
Right, well, shortest, yeah, I know it's really the same, they're all 24 hours.
I didn't say the shortest day, I said the shortest day of daylight.
Right,
the longest night of the year.
Longest night of the year is tonight.
Longest night of the year.
So it depends who you're with, it could be a long or a short night. Right, Scott the engineer?
Yes.
Right there.
But I can tell you this, the weather is very warm for the first day of winter.
The weather's not frightful. In New York State, this area where we live, it's going to be almost 70 on Christmas Eve.
That's what I
You
heard.
will not have a white, you'll have a green Christmas.
I believe we have broken some records.
Oh, absolutely. So I read New England today, they've broken all their... Last year after the horrific winter, now it's this gorgeous warm. I think it gives those who are in favor of global warming some support.
Well, I'm loving it because I love the warm weather. They said that the first 15 days of this month were the warmest the warmest period of time for a month, and that since we have the next week, they're predicting 60 plus degrees. You said 70 degrees. Mm-hmm. If that should happen, they're saying that this will be the warmest December in history in New York.
Mm-hmm. I spoke to a guy who does home heating oil.
He's not a happy camper.
He said there's nothing going on. People aren't driving. I'm happy to not turn the heat on.
Yeah.
But my wife at home still fights for that few digits more that we go back and forth on every night.
I actually just came back from Florida thinking I was going to escape the cold weather here when I made these plans. But it was just as warm there. It was wonderful. It was warmer. We had a 80-something degree weather down there, which is unseasonably warm for there as well.
Sure.
So it was wonderful. We went to the beach.
I think it's La Nina, as we say.
Yes.
The condition.
Yep. So I was down in Florida for a concert,
Mm-hmm.
and I brought my daughter and her friend, and it's very interesting to see how kids relate in today's society. They don't communicate with each other. Everything is texting. Everything is their phone. They wake up in the morning, the first thing they do is they look at their phone. So you don't have that problem.
Not yet, but I don't think much of what's going on. I think they're going to have problems socializing and dealing with adversity if they're doing this now.
I think they already do. 24% of teens admit to going online almost constantly. Most likely because they have smartphones, I would think.
Yeah, they have access 24/7, sure.
Yep. 88% of teens ages 13 to 17 say that they have a cell phone, and 90% say that they would rather text than talk. That's exactly what I was watching with my daughter and her friend.
But what if they're face-to-face?
They were just texting. Well, they were talking among each other, but they were watching TV and texting their friends back at home. We went to a concert, they were putting videos up. I have to say I was doing the same thing. But they were putting videos up on social media and then texting their friends while they're preoccupied. They're never really present where they're present.
Did you see that thing? I mean, this is sports, so you may not have missed it.
You never miss an opportunity, Scott.
There was, there were about 8, 9, or 9 or 10 young ladies at a baseball game, and you saw this, right? But it was a little bit half the truth, where they were completely criticized because they're at a ball game, and everyone was on phones at some point. So, of course, everyone jumped on that and said, look at these kids today, they're not present. However, it was really part of a contest. So I think either someone purposely or I don't know if it was inadvertently, took it out of context to kind of knock America's now youth at a ball game. So first it was a negative reflection, and then it was some kind of justification offered. I don't know.
But it's not just the youth that are doing this. The fastest growing group of the new users that are on Twitter, you know what the age group is?
Nope.
55 to 64. That's right. See, Tim knows.
Well, would you call those people laggards because it's been around for how many years now? 5, 6 years?
Well, I think it takes time for the older generation to understand it and see the value of it and figure out how to actually
Broadcasting.
use it.
Okay.
I mean, I still have trouble with Twitter.
There's a learning
And
curve.
I'm a Facebooker. 45% of users for any type of social media say that they feel worried or anxious when email or Facebook is inaccessible. They're actually having anxiety attacks over that. Do you believe that?
Absolutely, sure. There was, I think there was a study done where they rather have their phone or presents at Christmas, and they want to keep their phone.
They want to keep their phone.
Listen, I mean, we're bad to talk because I remember growing up, we had the best thing that ever happened was the long cord, because you could then walk about 15, 18 feet away, and your mom wouldn't hear you trying to talk to someone else's mom to ask for their daughter where they are, if they can come to the phone. That was a big invention.
I remember that.
The
I
long cord.
had that long cord, and I used to drag it all the way into the bathroom and shut the door because I would think that everyone on the other side of the door couldn't hear me, but they could obviously hear me anyway.
That's fun.
Yeah. The kids
Tim
have
had
no
only,
idea.
what, 10 brothers and sisters?
There was 7 brothers, 3 sisters, and we had the the vestibule of where you walk in and out of the house, and we would take that, which was like 12 feet long, stretch it into that, so it was like a telephone booth. But if someone walked through the house, you'd be like, oh, hold on, and then they'd walk through, and then you'd continue your conversation. But you'd be in there like it was a telephone booth.
Yeah. That's,
Until
come a long
cordless
way.
came out with, and then it
Things
changed.
sure have changed, yes. So 73% of people said that they would panic if they lost their smartphone. I would panic. I have to say, I am part of this.
Yeah, well, you're a bit over the top, but not everyone.
Thank you, Scott.
I mean, you're at the higher end of your.
Go ahead, try to back out of that
You're
one.
at the higher end of your age group, which is what, the 30s. So.
Yeah, very good, Scott. Good save.
He did back himself out.
Yeah, very good save. All right, moving on. Let's get off this topic. So I was down in Florida, and I recorded some more video because I don't have enough videos.
This is, as our friend Bill Loveland said, this is finally going to be the year of the video.
I would hope so.
He actually said that
Yeah, 2
15
and 3 years
was.
ago.
Yeah,
He keeps
I
saying
filmed that, yeah.
He keeps saying, that's why I said it. I didn't remember if you remembered. He keeps saying it, but we're going to find out from Tim why in the next part of our conversation.
Yeah, well, video definitely is where it's at. They say that video increases people's understanding of the product or of your service by 74%, and yet people are not using video. That's baffling to me. Why do you think that is, Scott?
Well, people are not professional videographers. They can take pictures and upload them to social media sites, but they are maybe thinking it's one more step that they are not ready to make. Maybe some people think they have a face for radio, and don't want to be seen with more chins than the Beijing phone book. I don't know.
So how do you feel about it? Because I don't see very many videos that you have recorded.
We have
So is that
videos-
because you have a face for radio?
I hope not.
Yeah, I had to get him at some point, right?
No, we have Tim posts some videos from our monthly real estate meetings. So
Yeah, but Tim is taking those videos and he's posting them. Are you doing video yourself?
I have not. No,
Why?
because I guess it's easier to take a picture and snap, and it's of something else other than yourself.
Let me retell you what I just said. Video increases people's understanding of your product or your service by 74%. And yet, people are not doing video.
I think there's a few extra steps that people are unaccustomed to.
Okay, I'll go with that. So, in addition to video, video that's recorded that people are putting out, what we do here on our show is we live video stream.
I am very well aware,
Yes, I know that.
and we're going to hear
And
how
then everyone gets to see you standing instead of sitting
I have to
here
stand
in the
and
studio.
think. I think on my feet.
So today we have Tim Judge, who's our videographer and CEO of HomeSearchTV.com. And Tim, tell us about yourself, because I want you to really give us some information on why we're doing live streaming video and the benefits of it and the benefits to the consumer.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Always a pleasure to be here every week. Filming you guys, I always learn something while I'm here. But yes, I am the founder of HomeSearchTV.com. We have over 10,000 videos on there, real estate videos, real estate themes, and scopes. Like we're scoping on Periscope and we're live on Meerkat. So these people are watching us live, as well as now we're doing this on the terrestrial radio. But HomeSearch TV was born at the Inman Conference in 2006 when Brad Inman said, in the future, everyone's website is going to be more like a TV station. And so I was sitting there, a new broker. I've been licensed for 25 years, but back then I was going to every conference and class and trying to get as educated as possible. When he said that, I said, well, think as big as you can. And I bought the domain HomeSearchTV.com so that I used it personally for a long time, and now that I'm starting to collaborate with other realtors to bring in their videos and just offer a product where we can watch all real estate videos, make it like a channel, similar to the way a cable TV has, your sports channels, your news channels, Bravo and all the ladies channels, or Spike TV would have the guy shows. So this would be the real estate shows, the real estate channel, pulling all those people in to have their own channel and their own space to watch video. Because as you said, I think it's a Realtor.com study that it says 79% of buyers want to watch a video on the home that they're looking to purchase, and only 12% of realtors are using video.
That's baffling to me.
It doesn't make any sense that, well, if a realtor wants to differentiate themselves and bring themselves ahead of the pack, there's a huge gap right there where they can own a good portion of the market as saying, I'm a guy who's producing video and who is connecting with people that want to watch video, and I'm one of the very few realtors out there who is producing video for my listings and the market, and you can do market updates, you can do walkthroughs, and with the streaming apps that we're going to talk about now, it couldn't be easier to do. So.
Right, and it's so much better. It provides so much more exposure for the seller, for the home, and most people are looking online first, and they want to see really good quality photos, but they do want to see video. They want to do the walkthrough through the house.
Yeah.
So Tim, if I was Bobby Buyer and Victoria was Sally Seller, what would be the benefit if it means if I would have my realtor, I guess, preview properties, let me see the video so I don't have to go in if I really hate the layout and even the location? I mean, what could a realtor do? What should buyer be?
Are you saying that your expectation of your realtor is to go in and video for you?
I'm wondering. Yeah. No. Video.
I don't think you need to do that, because if the listing agent is putting video up of the house, you could go right online and look at the video.
I agree.
Yes.
And if that's something on you, Susie, seller, would ask your listing agent to do, but if your listing agent is somehow derelict in those newer duties, I still want to see the house. Realtors preview properties, so why couldn't they go there and quote-unquote scope it out, let them know where the kitchen and the dinette and where the green shag carpet is and the paneling and maybe the location and the high-tension wires.
What
behind it.
houses do you look at? Green shag rugs and paneling?
And he
Really?
gets there in his Buick.
That's right. In his realtor's Buick.
But why, I mean, look, realtors, why couldn't possibly that be one of their duties, one of their next offerings, is to preview live Periscope and give us some ideas about that?
Well, absolutely. Well, the premise of HomeSearchTV is that it's not only current videos of listings. So if there's past listings on there, if you've ever done a video of any house, I like the fact of that you can use it as like an Ancestry.com type situation where you look at a house where it was listed in 2006 and the bathrooms and kitchens were in one condition, and you might see that, and then the person lists it again and it's much more money, and that person, that realtor lists it again and they've redone the kitchens and bathrooms, and you know now why they're asking for $100,000 more or whatever it is.
Okay, so kind of a justification.
So-
I would think when it's from the seller side, because they want to say this is the before, this is the after.
Right, I actually
Well,
want
both.
to have everyone hold that thought because we're going to need to go to break. If you are listening to the show and you would like to join in on the discussion here today, we are talking about video. We're also talking about live streaming video, and you can reach us here at 914-693-5700.
Have you ever been there?
Have you ever been?
Right.
Because something you
Let me
don't
check this out.
We have George on hold.
Okay.
Yeah, George is my first guy there.
So I want to ask also, define, like Facebook Live is coming out,
Yes.
all right, and Periscope is what we could do. So, and Periscope is through Twitter, but what's Meerkat on its own?
Correct. They were both on their own, and
When we come back, go back to your question, let him finish the
Okay.
statement, and then we can talk about what we do here and what we're using, and you can ask
I
him.
got it, but I mean, we're kind of forgetting that the people out there who are real estate consumers want to know
Right, well, what do we do here? Explain what it is, and then how do you use
how it's
this?
applicable, how it should be used. I want to find out what buyers and sellers, what expectations are reasonable given this, why would people whose homes are being sold demand this of, no, but how does this differ from like a video tour? What are those things, those, even Exit has these video tours?
The slideshows.
This is Paul
Slideshows.
Oster, the nation's credit repairman, and I want to
How's
Right.
a video from the, the old 360
As the
things?
CEO of
Right, well,
Qualified, I help thousands
because,
of people
well,
over the
I
past
think
10
that the
years.
benefit that
I'm the
these
credit
people would
expert for
see
Fox Business News
is
and all the major
that
networks.
it's
I'm a certified
real
Plato
time
Pro
because you're
that uses the
tweeting into
consumer
or
laws
commenting
to help
into the
delete
show,
negative
and I
information
should
off
say
of
this to
credit
the
reports.
listeners, but
We have a debt
you know,
elimination program
it's not
that
a
focuses
staged
on the laws
situation.
surrounding collections, judgments,
So it's
and
interactive,
shortfalls.
that's the point.
You could be entitled to
Interactive
$1,000
is the
That's
biggest-
the
is the
point.
biggest-
That's really the point. If you look at a video on a house, you're seeing it and you can't say, well, what?
533
Right, go back and show me that
So
That's
even
garage
more so the
again,
point,
or-
Victoria, it's all kidding aside, don't you think a realtor should now say, you stay home, I'll preview, and that's one more thing we offer. That's another reason why you would hire me with a buyer exclusive. And then when you're ready for, if the house sucks, you just, realtor goes through it for 20 minutes. And
Okay, so can a buyer's agent go through a house and record the listing of somebody else's listing? And then
what do you
send
mean
it?
the listing of someone else? No, they're going in regardless of what the listing agent posted.
Okay, so you're my client, right?
30 seconds.
I'm your buyer agent, and I go in and I'm in his house and I record it and then I send it to you.
No, you're doing the Periscope live.
Right.
It's not
And
recording.
Periscope is being
They're
live
listening while I'm
streamed
in my
on
fuzzy
Twitter.
slippers,
What
you're
if the
doing it.
listing agent calls me and says, "Hey, you had no right to do that"?
Sure they do. You can take pictures, you can't do a
No.
video?
I don't know if they
you can't take pictures and you can't do video without the listing agent's approval.
I don't know where that's found at all.
No, you don't have the right to do that.
Coming back.
As a member of MLS?
I don't think
That's
you have
right.
the right to do
No.
that.
I'm gonna find that out tomorrow.
And we're back.
Go ahead. I wouldn't do it.
If you would like to join in the conversation, again, give us a call at 914-693-5700. We were talking to Tim Judge from HomeSearchTV.com, and we were talking about video, and you were finishing your... I kind of cut you short to go on to the break, so I want to turn it back over to you.
Well, we were just talking about the power of video and how most agents don't use it and how they can differentiate themselves by doing video. The thing about the live streaming is the interactivity of it, and our friends on Periscope now are tweeting into the show and asking questions, and when you're doing that as a realtor, walking through a house, you get to connect and interact with your customers or colleagues that want to know more about the house, the area, or anything else. So when I watch a lot of scopes from other realtors, I can ask how close is the next Starbucks, where is the next Costco, or whatever it is, or the library, whatever I want to know. And or, you know, can you go back into the garage, or tell me about the yard, you know, where does the yard stop and the next one begin?
So, Tim, you're talking about live streaming video, and we do it here in the studio. What are we using? I know we're using Periscope and Meerkat. Can you explain what that is for our listeners?
Okay, so there's a couple very popular ones right now, and that's Meerkat and Periscope, and they're less than a year old at the moment, and Meerkat kind of blasted on the scene first, but Periscope was shortly behind, but they were then also bought out by Twitter. So Twitter invested $1 billion into Periscope. So with that behind them, I think they're gaining, they started to take off a little bit faster. Now with that, you can tweet into the live stream, and it's very easy and very interactive with Twitter. Of course, it's shared out on Twitter as well. So that's a very powerful medium. Everybody's probably heard about Twitter. And then you can
And that's what
those.
you're talking about when you're talking about it being interactive, because as this is live streaming on Twitter, anyone who's watching that feed can now ask questions and join in the conversation.
Correct.
So I'm Bobby Byer, and I want to know about the properties I've been looking on Realtor.com. No, it's Realtor.com. Plug there. Hope Rupert Murdoch is listening in, supporting the group. So
I'm
we're
sure
all
he
in.
Yes, I'm sure he's a very big fan.
Maybe he is. He's in media, so are we.
Yes.
So I'm not saying at the same level, but we're still all in
What
media.
is your topic? Can you get to the point, please?
As a buyer, I have limited time, and there's work to do and family to spend time with. So I would hope my realtor, like they preview now, and somehow look around, make some notes, jot it down on their, what's that used to call it?
You're going to say a Palm Pilot?
Notepad?
A
No,
Palm Pilot.
Worse than that, a shorthand steno.
Oh,
Stenography.
stenography.
They would now jot it down on their steno pad,
Okay.
and then they would tell you, I'd rather my realtor is
I
Bobby
don't think
Bryant.
he's in his 40s. I think he's like 90.
I'm Benjamin Button, that's why
Yeah,
I'm
that's
reversing.
right. And you love jazz.
We're going to have a poll for who actually loves jazz and can afford it.
And we digress once
Okay,
again.
but I'm saying I'm Bobby Byer, and I want my realtors to look at the properties for me and, no pun intended, scope it out while using scope and let me see what I want to see, what I don't want to see. If it needs a ton of work.
Okay, so let me rephrase what you're trying to say. You're saying that if I am your realtor and I'm representing you as a buyer, you're my buyer, I'm your buyer's
Bobby
agent,
Byer.
you want me to go into Tim's listing and record it and send it to you.
Well, I think
Yes?
that Periscope is not recorded. It's 24 hours of
Well, it's live streaming.
live
When
streaming.
it,
So it's literally not recording. So it's live streaming, and I'm there like on a Skype call from Europe, and I'm checking it out. My wife and I are huddled around our iPad, and you're doing some work, and that's a reason why.
I'm not sure that I would be able to do that for you.
Well, if I would, let's look
I
around.
would need permission from the listing agent
Respectfully,
to
I
do that.
disagree, because what if I'm your buyer? I could snap pictures. What is there, some picture police in a listing?
But this is live
But
streaming
that's
on
not public,
Twitter.
right?
And this is public.
Well, you can, and I'm sorry, to clarify, Periscope can go one-to-one. So if you have
That's
your...
a Skype call.
It's similar, yes. So if you have Periscope buyer, Bobby Byer has a Periscope account, I can stream directly to you and not show it to the world.
So I would wouldn't Bobby
So you
Byer
can
and
do that.
my Bobby Byer brethren, wouldn't we all have, let's say, our own little Twitter account for that purpose, for a home buying purpose? I think it would be a good idea.
As a realtor, I would definitely recommend my buyers and sellers to have a Periscope account. I mean, honestly, I go to my kid's soccer game and I broadcast to my wife who couldn't make to the game, and so I'm showing the kids at the soccer game just to her, and
I understand
not to, so privacy
Sally
is
Sether's
concerned.
concern now, but I mean, so let's say Sally Sether, not Struthers,
Easy
Sally
with the
Seller
twisters.
you would want, I think, another value add. Wouldn't it be great to demand as a reason, another unique selling proposition when you're interviewing listing agents?
Absolutely. I do think that sellers that are listening to this show right now should understand the power of video, number one, and the power of these new apps that are out, because this is very powerful. And it does make a difference. Now, if Tim was a listing agent and he had your house listed, and maybe he has 1 or 2 photos up and that's it, and I call him up and I say, I would like to take video of this and I want to stream it live on Twitter, and he has no idea what I'm talking about, and he says, yeah, sure, that would be great. How do you think that seller is going to feel that another agent is doing a much better job getting exposure for that listing? You know, so really it's very important that when you're interviewing a listing agent that you have the right listing agent, because there are
This
tools
is one more thing.
and technology that is available today that was not available even just a year ago.
Okay, so let's take this even further. Okay, if Tim's the expert in this area, and there's the big shot broker who might have built a local real estate channel, so his or her listings are immediately, quote unquote, followed on Periscope. So it's like a mini hot sheet to those people he wants to know.
That's
In
right.
a local setting.
That's right. And now they have differentiated themselves from everyone else. And that's a very good thing.
And it's not just listings. If I want to be, the anchor of the town, I will go into restaurants and shops and, the pumpkin fair and whatever else, and I'm broadcasting this. They get a slice of life of what's going on in the town.
Yeah,
right?
we just
And
attended
people
community.
buy based on the community.
Of course,
So being the community expert is fantastic.
we just went to the
just hold
Frosty
that thought,
Parade.
because we want to invite others to join in the discussion here. If you'd like to call in, 914-693-5700. And
That's
I
right.
believe we have a caller on the line right now.
Hello, hello.
Is that
Hello.
George?
Yes, it is. George Oberdorser, RedHotNaples.com. How are you?
Very good. George is a friend of mine who I met through Periscope. We've never met in person, but he's a realtor doing business in Florida. And I asked him to call in, so this was a plan set up.
Ah, very
But,
nice.
But he's a pro, and he's on Periscope a lot. So, George, thanks for calling in, and just wanted to get your experience with the app Periscope or Meerkat. Which one is your favorite?
Right now, it's definitely Periscope. One obvious reason is Meerkat is not working for me, and they don't even know the reasoning behind it. But the whole logistics and the framework between Periscope and Meerkat, Periscope has its advantages. Right now, with the newer Apple TV, they have their own app, and people can stream Periscope and watch it live on their TV sets.
Wow.
Also, the map feature is one of the most powerful, and it was one of the first updates that Periscope launched with. So I love the map feature. I seek out, and I follow a ton of people, and it's just entertaining. And not only do I use Periscope as a vessel to help other real estate agents or people understand real estate, I do it to actually show how beautiful my area is, so people can look on a map and say, wow, we're in New Jersey or New York, no offense to you guys, we're getting hammered by a blizzard. Let's see what Florida looks like. They'll pick the red dot they see on the map, click on it, and then they really see what's going on. And
Please find something. Well, I have a question, George, for you and Tim. Right now we're in the studio with Wi-Fi. Home, I have Wi-Fi. Office, I have Wi-Fi. When you go to the home of Ma and Pa Kettle, they don't have FM radio, let alone Wi-Fi. Are you doing this on hoping that
Who's he
your
hang out with?
are you doing this hoping that your minutes won't that be scratchy or clunky, Tim? How about using this without Wi-Fi? I mean, what's your thought on that? Like in a town or
The technology, I believe, George, the technology is it videotapes chunks of video, so you can stream this even over your 3G network or whatever it is. So it doesn't, obviously it's ideal to use Wi-Fi, but the way that this service works, it's actually streams chunks of video. So it puts them together the way they do it. I can't really go into the science of it, but it will work even when you're not on Wi-Fi.
Okay, so maybe not everyone has the Meerkat, which is a special thing, and Periscope is through Twitter. But what's the new thing, Tim? This Facebook Live that you think?
Well, that's the next step, and I did a video in the spring, and talking about how Facebook is in direct competition with YouTube, trying to get eyeballs on videos because video is very popular. And also another stat was that by 2018 or 19, that 75% of all internet traffic will be videos. So people making explainer videos or watching cat videos or whatever it is, but more traffic is going to be used by video than just the text and tweets that are out there.
Let me ask you something about that, because they say 45% of viewers will stop watching a video after 1 minute and 60% after 2 minutes.
Yes.
Are you in agreement of that?
Well, yeah, you can. The thing about also the power of it. I mean, we're on terrestrial radio. You don't know how many people have tuned in and tuned out. There's an app called Full Scope TV, which will go watch your Periscope, and you can watch how many people have come in and out of your scope, and then you can look at that data and interact with the people. So it's you're looking both ways. People are watching you, and then you can watch the people that are watching you. So it's really
And
very
what's the
powerful.
best way to keep them engaged?
Be engaging.
Ah.
I mean, say something.
Okay,
say
can you be a
something
little bit
of
more
importance.
specific?
But to be engaging, to not just to sit there and with a lot of fluff. You have to say meaningful things and be direct, short and to the point. Shorter videos are better because you want to say exactly what you need to say and then move on. If you have people interacting and asking you questions, then that's a great show. If you're sitting there, saying, "Oh, I'm sending out emails, I'm trying to do business," then nobody wants to watch you do that.
Okay, but Victoria, you're asking the question that says, are you shooting it? When you're asking how about the time and the engagement, that's in the example where a broker is just sending out stuff to no one in particular. If you're dealing with 4 or 5 buyers, they're going to not be turning off at 1 minute and 2 minutes. They're going to be
Right.
very, very engaged. It's like if I call you about a story, you're going to listen, I hope. Or if I'm just blathering out in the street, not everyone's going to listen. So I like the much more targeted approach.
Right.
Where it's, you say,
So when,
hi,
when you're doing it one-on-one, that's a whole different
Or-
ballgame. But I'm talking about when you're doing video and you're appealing to the masses. And the reason I brought it up is because what I've noticed with the younger generation, the kids, they've mastered this. You don't see kids making long videos. In fact, they're using Vine, they're using Instagram
Snapchat.
videos. These are 6-second videos. And they just get right to the point, boom, done, out there.
I mean, okay, right to the point. What point can be made in 6 seconds? 1, 2, 3, 4.
We know how
Right.
6 seconds.
That's like a
Right.
snap times 5.
But you know what?
So what can be made in that time
There's a
frame?
reason that they're doing that, because those videos are getting shared 37% more than any of the longer version
I
videos.
believe it.
But
'Cause
remember, the masses will be the younger generation. You're talking about millennials that are out there. They do not want to watch a 7-8 minute video.
No, maybe that's, I get it, but you say they're shared. The sharing takes one touch of a device. So it's not
But
like
the
it's,
shorter videos are getting shared 37% more than a longer video.
that means 1/3 more. But my point is, what could be, and there's very little that could be done. Maybe the front of a house. Maybe,
I'm not talking
Well,
about a
no,
house. I'm
we're
talking about a message.
oh, a message. Okay. I'm here, letting,
But if you did the scope, you turned it on and said, "I have an open house today, right here. Come inside if you want to see what the inside
That's
looks like."
the
That's a
message.
teaser video, and you say, "Here I am." So you're in the best feature of the house. Say it's they got a jacuzzi out in the back, or they have a view of the water, and you say, "Come down and visit. I'm serving mini hot dogs."
okay, so let's talk about it
I
from the
got an open
seller's
house.
perspective. You know the way we've always had the single property website, or the,
Mhm.
that was a cool thing at one point?
Yep.
So why wouldn't there be every time you get a house as a listing agent, you make that a Twitter account, and you would have your possible buyers or shoot.
I'm not sure you would give it its own Twitter account. Correct me if I'm
Wouldn't that
wrong,
be the
Tim,
same- the
but
cousin
you
of
would
the-
put it on your Twitter account.
Well, what if
some
it's
of
a
your
$1 million
listings.
house versus 100,000? People only. What do you think about that?
I'm going to
But-
let Tim answer
Go ahead,
that
what do
because
you
he's
think?
the expert.
Making its own Twitter account.
Yeah, why not?
Because
Be
no
like
one
a
would
single-
follow it. You're talking about a snowflake in the middle of.
I'm not saying
Winner.
follow it. I'm saying for those buyers that are that you may have or know about that are possible buyers in that price range in that location. Just like think of a single property website. It's a website for that property. And only those people who want to pay that much and live in that area are gonna be interested in it.
But the post would probably have its own website or a landing page or a squeeze page or whatever you want to call it, but it would be on your Twitter account because you're the one who's going to have the followers. You're the one who's going to be pushing out this information.
I get it, but
Well,
there'll be a
it
lot
has
of
to be-
inapplicable people, right? Because it's $1 million and you have people who can afford $500,000. One live in the west coast of the county or the east coast of the county.
George, are you still there?
Oh yeah.
What do you think,
And
George?
how many videos have you made?
395 broadcasts so far.
395 broadcasts.
About how many houses, though? 395?
I'm gonna say probably 20%. My station or my handle is a little bit of a hybrid concept. I would say 951 of my followers, or half of my 951, are probably real estate agents looking for information, looking for marketing. I try and make it three-dimensional.
Make it three-dimensional. And that because you're working with buyers, sellers, and realtors. Those are the three dimensions?
Well, pretty much. I mean, basically, I don't want to be just business, kind of like, Gary Vaynerchuk. I try and do the jab, right hook. I'm not going to always turn on my Periscope looking for somebody to do business with me, because that's the best way to get people not to follow you or not to be interested in you. I use it as a vessel where I show people, like you were saying earlier, about a popular restaurant. You educate people about the area, the history, landmarks, all this. Oh, look at the great weather. We only average 20 days of rain a year, and this and that. But also, I use Periscope to try and educate, help real estate agents starting out. So I almost do it like a coach or a mentor.
Okay, well, so you mix coaching, mentoring agents with home buyers?
It's funny because, a lot of home buyers will actually come on hoping to see $1 million listing. And it is the case sometimes. I've toured $3, $5, $10 million homes. A lot of the homes after $10 million, they don't want video recording or audio recording without the owner's permission. But I show people kind of behind the scenes, the rawness of what it takes to be a real estate agent. A lot of people see the showmanship of it and the script. I show the unscripted version.
And everyone is intrigued by real estate, so I think what he's doing is spot on.
I just turned on your channel, by the way, of Periscope, so we're watching you while you're doing that. Yeah, I get the wave.
HGTV right now, how many people are tuning into that because they are intrigued by the whole real estate industry. So what he's doing is he is engaging the masses on a lot of different levels. But hold that thought. We are going to go to break right now. If you would like to join in the conversation again, 914-693-5700. We are talking about video and in real estate. Thank you.
Have you ever been disappointed because something important you planned
Who's on the
went wrong at the last moment?
Sorry, what was that?
Doesn't that make you really frustrated? That won't
Yes,
happen
who's
at
speaking?
Movement Mortgage, where your entire loan process is
Okay,
designed
I
to
will put-
relieve
we
the
just went to
stress
commercial and I will
from
put you
getting your
through and
loan
we'll be right
approved
with you.
quickly. Movement Mortgage is
I noticed
an
that, George.
fastest
Like-
growing company
Yeah.
in 42 states,
Sonya's from
including
Chicago.
this area, working hard for you.
She does a lot of
How?
videos,
At
too.
Movement
She just
Mortgage,
did.
your loan is
This afternoon
processed
she
in
did.
7 days,
She
and we underwrite in the
video
first 48 hours.
an inspection.
We expedite your
So
loan and
she's
update you
doing-
continually.
the inspectors
When
go
buying
around
your
with
first
fire
home,
and she's
upgrading,
scoping
downsizing,
the
or
inspection
even
of the house.
refinancing.
This is
all
like
your
10 years ago.
loans
People
and
talked about
today,
blog
Movement
about
of
the
Change is
inspection.
here for you with
This is now
Movement
video of the
Mortgage.
inspection.
And
You
Movement
get your head
Mortgage at
down in the
1-800-516-2119.
tank and you're watching the guy look in the attic.
1-800-516-2119. Movement Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 39179. The movement of change is here. Movement Mortgage. This is Paul Oster, the nation's credit repairman, and I want to help you improve your credit. As the CEO of Better Qualified, I've helped thousands of people over the past 10 years. I'm the credit
Really,
expert
really
for
great
Fox
guy.
Business News and all the major networks. I'm a certified FICO
He was
pro
rocking the
that
religious
uses
side.
the consumer laws to help delete negative information off of credit reports. We have a debt elimination program that focuses on the
What do
laws
you think of that
surrounding
suspension?
collections, judgments, and charge-offs.
Justified.
You could be entitled
He
to
was
up
out
to
of his mind yesterday.
$1,000 per
Really was.
violation. Call now for your
Might be the
free
best thing
credit
ever happened to him,
consultation.
though.
I hope so. The only thing that annoys me is that
8138.
everyone's saying,
That
like,
number again?
He's a selfish. He's never been selfish or me first before yesterday. Now all of a sudden he's Terrell Owens. Like, I don't agree with that.
Whether you're looking to
I'm not a Giants fan, but I love that guy, and I listen to him on the radio every week, and he's never talking about me. And leading
Play
up
special teams. What a league receiver plays special teams? Never.
Yeah, I don't know why they had him back there instead of Dwayne Harris. But Antonio Brown is a punt returner. He was a really good returner in college at LSU. He was the kick returner.
That was stuff that I've never seen yesterday.
Yeah, he was a little advert.
Both were. They both were.
And take the time to work with you individually. Talk to us. AnyMac won't just get you a mortgage, they will get you the right mortgage for you. Call AnyMac Home
There's
Mortgage
a lot of
at
uses for Victoria.
1-888-242-1313. That's 1-888-242-1313. AnyMac Home
Someone
Mortgage
who
is an equal
can
housing
give
lender.
that information
NMSL
in a perfect world.
338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is a licensed lender by the Colorado Mortgage
Good
Company
job, Tim.
Registration.
I think that the best place to have the clients can use it.
And we're back.
Sorry.
And I believe we have another caller on the line. We are talking about video and live streaming video in real estate and the value this has to both the buyer and the seller when buying and selling a house. We have another caller on the line. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, Sonia. Is that you?
Hey, Tim. So sorry. I got the times mixed up.
Not a problem. I know you're in Chicago, so it could have been time zone situation.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
No problem. We just had George on. I know you know George. He's in Florida, and you're in Chicago. And how many streams have you done? We took George's answer. How many streams have you done?
345.
345. You guys are both beating me by a lot. But so
So how many streams have you done, Tim?
I'm at about 150.
All right.
Somewhere around there between the Tim Judge account and HomeSearchTV.com account. I'm approaching 200 pretty quickly.
You need to do some more.
Yes, well, I plan on I'm going to do a big challenge. I know there's a 100-day challenge out there right now. I'm going to do something like that for the new year. There'll be a lot on there.
Actually, no, I checked. It's 456.
There you go.
Wow,
She wanted the
even
top
more.
spot.
Sorry. Yeah.
Are those? Hi, Sonia. This is Scott. Are those broadcasts all real estate related, or regarding how you service real estate clients?
No, not all of them. The majority, I would probably say 90% of them are.
Okay.
She's a juicer.
Juicer.
She does juicing.
Yeah, I do juicing, and I tour the city as well, the city of Chicago as well.
Well, I'd consider the tours part of the real
Consider that
estate,
more real
the
estate.
community. I mean, you could definitely loop that into the community aspect. What streams that you have done have gotten your best engagement? What people react to the best?
What people react to the best, I've noticed, through something that full scope with the status
Yes.
is basically the scope where I involve my clients with me.
So I was mentioning while we were just off air on the break that you scoped today about an inspection.
Yeah, I did. So basically, of course, I get permission from my clients and my home inspector. But every time that I'm on with my clients, especially with my home inspector, I get a lot of views. And people seem to resonate more with that. It's more of a story. Because they can see, it's not only through my eyes, but also through the buyer's eyes as well.
Right. And do your buyers go back and look at the scopes themselves and then, remember things? I mean, is that a good thing for them?
They do all the time. Yes, they do. They go look at the replay.
Right.
My home inspector does as well. My lenders do. My sellers
They're
as well.
closings.
Right.
By closings.
Well, I don't think a closing would be very exciting, watching everybody sign.
No, but it's the
87.
culmination, from beginning hi, hello to congratulations.
Well, yeah.
Well,
you
maybe
could-
just the very beginning of it and then the very end of it.
I got it.
But inspections and of course community tours, but the inspections I think were great. That was great today that you're, going over all the little things that people, don't look at when they're just falling in love. They're just, then someone comes in, then Dr. Phil comes in and rips the house apart and gives them the real deal, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So I always love to watch those scopes of yours too, because you are very thorough and I do enjoy them.
Sonia, when you're given the scope, are people, your client and others, interacting the whole time? Do people asking questions, I guess, via Twitter? What's going on with that? Is the inspector going to check under the sink? I mean, is it back and forth?
Yeah, absolutely. I get all types of comments, and I'll get feedback from the audience as well, in terms of, oh, well, did they check that, or what's going on with that, or why, they ask the who, the what, the where, the why.
Okay, so the people who, I got a question. So someone not involved in the transaction is asking questions?
Again, real estate
Sure.
is very intriguing to the world.
It's
So this is
everyone's
the
biggest
guts and the
purchase.
nuts and bolts of HGT, the stuff they don't
Right.
show.
Right.
Absolutely. They want to see what is really going on behind the scenes. And Sonia, I have a question for you too. How do the sellers feel about this when you're live streaming a home inspection?
They love it. Yeah,
They
I'm
do.
sorry. I don't mean to get you off.
That's okay.
Yeah, no, they love it. They love the fact that I'm using live streaming. They don't know of other realtors that are doing that. And just the fact that their property is getting more exposure to sell it quicker.
Exactly.
They're loving it. I mean, I even have my sellers on there, and they start talking about the property to the audience as well. And then they start commenting back and forth, commenting back and forth.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
Right. I think it's very authentic. This type of video is man on the street or woman on the street in your case, Sonia, but
Sally.
it's a very direct and authentic, so that you're not getting a staged situation. And when the sellers are seeing the reaction from buyers or the people looking at it, like, oh, that the foundation has a crack, that's ridiculous. I think I've said crack house on one of your videos before. But when you see that, and the seller's like, oh, the crack's not a big deal. But when 10 people go, oh, what's it going to take to fix that? What kind of hassle would I go through? Then it becomes real in everyone's mind about the situation, about the house, whatever condition it's in. But everyone is then on the same page. So it's a great equalizer to what people are really looking at, and maybe things that people haven't noticed that they should notice. So I think it's a tremendous educational experience to go and watch the videos that you put out.
And then you also have a group of people that can communicate back with you if you have concerns when you're there live.
Yeah, well, you would get
Asian
when the buyers go back and look
Association.
back, they would see other people commenting on different questions, and maybe they didn't address it. Maybe you couldn't bring that up in time, but someone else said something that they might want to address that didn't get addressed during the inspection, that they want to dig deeper into or something like that.
Sonia, let me ask you, what did you think of my suggestion? If you heard it before, if not, I'll say it again, where you might preview properties, and that might be another reason to work with you versus others, that you'll do the legwork and let people see and almost eliminate the houses that they may suggest from their search.
Yeah, I mean, that works too. Actually, that's already working without even me.
Are you doing that?
Doing it, like, specifically for a person, because what's happening is that as I'm touring with my clients, the other people see and they're like, oh, I know that your buyer didn't like that one, but I like that one, and so I'll get a look at that.
But what about without your clients, when you're really just previewing, like the old school, instead of taking, photos and maybe sending them? What do you think about doing it without clients? Just kind of doing the legwork?
Kind of like if someone's in New York and they want to buy a property.
No? Where are you located?
with a
Chicago?
customer.
What if they're just in Chicagoland and they don't feel like leaving their house and they want to hire you to do that?
Yeah, there's actual service. I just saw it on a Facebook group somewhere. There's an actual I forgot what it's called. They're doing that.
Teleport me?
Yeah, it's something like that. There's an app, and then you can just hire. I think it's $3.99 per tour, and they're using it more for the rental market out in New York. But yeah, I mean, that would be great too here.
Yeah, I think I've
Tell
heard
us
of
about
that.
that.
I've heard of that service. It's basically hiring periscopers. They match up periscopers wherever their location is. If people want to go and see a certain venue for any reason, for a wedding or an event or something, any reason you want to send someone in there, you can basically hire a scoper to go in and look around for you, so that they can be your eyes to do that. And
Right. That's such a great idea because the website is often different than when you actually arrive.
And you say $3.99,
Right.
$3.99?
I don't know what.
Yeah, from what I know from that particular, there might be more. I don't know. This is the only one I've heard of so far. It's like $4, $3.99. I don't know if it's for I don't know, every 10 minutes, or I didn't really look too much into it, but I do know it's around that amount.
Yeah. I didn't look into signing that up. That's like, I think I read about somebody who was wanted to be an Uber driver, so they got to know the neighborhood better. This would be like you could be a scoper for people that would go around and videotape the community and what's going on and get paid for it by people on
This
Periscope.
one was specifically for like rentals, so someone would go in there and show them a rental because they were interested. A tenant would be interested in the rental. But I mean, same thing with like purchasing a property, same thing.
I'm also friends with another guy. I couldn't get him on the show, but Find My Place NYC. He does a lot of rentals property in Manhattan. So, and I think he was featured on CNBC. Did you see that article? He was on the CNBC website. But he's doing Periscope. He's doing Periscope for rentals in Manhattan.
Okay, so here's my question. So they're not realtors, obviously, or licensed.
The Teleport Me one will hire anybody to go and do that.
Okay, so they're just basically I want to say videographers, but I guess you call them scopers, right? So
If you
How do they
have
get
a realtor
access?
like his with the Buick that doesn't have a smartphone, you have to hire the Teleport person
Okay.
to go out with Scott.
But that realtor,
or
the
that
Buick, can still
person.
get
So
in.
now, obviously, they would have to get the listing agent's permission to do
Yes,
so.
I would.
And
I
they
would
go and they
absolutely
do
think that.
this.
Yeah.
I would imagine that a lot of listing agents would either hire these people to do it for them or do it themselves and get it out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing about these, quite honestly, the reason why I love these apps so much is because it is super simple. It's just so easy to turn on the camera. It's like if you've taken a picture or filmed your kids singing happy birthday, then you can turn on this camera and walk around a house and interact with people. You don't have to be nervous that you're going to be in front of 10,000 people. It's going to be, you'll have a dozen people show up and you can tell your friends to watch what you're doing and build upon what you have going. It's really a very, very simple way to use it.
Should sellers expect or they welcome a Periscope video in addition to the video done on the listing?
I don't think they're aware of it. How
Right.
many sellers are aware of
None.
this?
No.
They're not. You have to make them aware of it. They don't even know. Some people don't even know what Periscope is.
Right. So it's really the agent's job to differentiate themselves once again and say, look, this is what's available. And again, remember, this has only been around less than a year, or about a year, right? So this is very new technology.
So this
and
should be in
sellers are
addition
not
to
a-
the
they're not
professional video of
understanding
the
it.
house, you think?
I'm sorry?
So this is like a homemade video, so this should...
It should be in addition to, yes, that's what I think.
I think
Tim,
so.
do you
What
agree?
think?
Yeah, well, either way, I think that you have people out there that do studio type versions of the house, and they're beautiful. They take time and production and money, where this will give you a much more realistic sense. So I think that this is more effective, and as Sonia said, she gets more engagement when there's a buyer or somebody there that's involved and really invested in making a purchase. So you get that kind of interactivity on your video. It becomes more effective when there's other people involved. So
Right.
when you have the interaction, it's more powerful than your staged and beautiful.
That's the answer. So
Right.
one is...
But I would
no one-
imagine if you have that staged video that looks really beautiful and you've invested in this for marketing purposes, and then you go out and you do a Periscope on this, and you get the engagement, when people see the Periscope, they're more inclined to go look at your site on this and see what it really looks like, and because one is real time and the other is
So if you sat at the
is
dining room
marketing.
table with the looks, might look better, because it might be a beautiful sunny day versus a cloudy day that you're there, it's still giving people a sense of confidence. Oh, there's the table. That's where we'd be sitting. That's
Right.
where...
Well, one is very real, and one is for marketing purposes.
Exactly.
And I think even if you were just marketing yourself, take the house out of the picture. And when we were talking about that 6-second video, I'm about to do an open house. This is very real. When Tim stands there and does something like that, again, more people are inclined to now go check out the website for that house and go look at the professional photos.
It's kind of like a
and the
headshot
professional
versus
video.
you being in your bathrobe.
Right.
I like that one.
Well,
You like that?
only you would like that. You come out with the most bizarre things.
That's a great analogy.
Sonia, last question. Have you have you gotten buyers or sellers out of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on my third home buyer. We actually got an accepted offer today. And
Excellent.
I am working also with an investor because that's really my goal is to get more investors for more listings.
So it works.
So the investor, we're under contract as well. So that's my third.
Excellent. Well, I don't want to cut you off, but I wanted to thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Sonia.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Okay, and Tim, how do we reach you for
I'm,
anyone who would like to get in touch with you?
Tim at HomeSearchTV.com, and so you can find me on HomeSearchTV.com.
Awesome. Thank you very much for being here and sharing all of your wonderful information. And Scott, how do we reach you?
Easily. S. Forcino at ExitRealtyGroup.com.
And of course, I am Victoria Rivadeneira, and I can be reached at victoriariva.com, where you can find all of my information, including social media, telephone number, and all other contact information. We want to thank you very much for joining our show today, and we look forward to having you join us next week.
Merry Christmas.
From the Entergy Studios, it's
Okay,
news
thank you, Tim. That was really good video.
Good.
White
job.
Plains,
Yeah.
the
Thank you.
Cumulus
They
Station,
were,
News
good too.
WFS.
That went quick.
Yeah,
It
that was
always
a good
does.
That was a fast hour.
Yeah.
Charges pending.
That was
in
good
Vegas.
information, Tim.
I tell you, it's good information because I mean,
Motorists accused
maybe
of
you're
filing
crazy.
What is with you and your
What?
Buick and your
Sally
Danny
Souther?
Rugg and your Sally Southers and
Sally-
Bobby
Sally
Byer?
Struthers.
Well, that's
Trying to.
trying to personalize it.
Yeah.
Well,
just-
I'm making the point, what if the house just sucks? Why do you want to go there? Why don't you have your realtor rule it out? No, it's too close to high tension wires. No, next door is a crummy house. No, it's a mess.
Thank you, Sonia. She's still online. Thanks, Joe is still in there. Let's see who's in there. And my friend Joe, Veronica the Realtor, Lenny, and of course George over there from Red Hot Naples. Thank you all for showing up, and we'll see you again next week.
Tim, come back over.
Okay.
Come back. No. Only use mine. He's not allowed to put up his
Why? You're
pictures.
bad? Why?
Yes, because you put up the most unflattering pictures
Or
of
you can
me.
just text this picture to
That's
him.
what I'll do.
Do you know his iPhone really a lot?
He's no
really well?
longer allowed to take pictures.
My pictures
Did
are
you ever
doing like
notice
a
I
1
put up a
second
picture
video.
of
Do you know how that's
He'll
working?
put up this
1
exact
second
same
of
picture. Be
video?
like,
Here, look. Look.
do not use his phone.
Look at my head. Look at Tim.
I think that's just the picture transit. That's not a video.
That's okay.
That's still on.
This is still
In
on.
the lower column.
Lower right, press the
box,
square.
The square.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, stop.
Yeah.
Okay, get your mic.